Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for blessing me with your time today. I hope you're in a happy mind state wherever you are in life. And I want to talk to you guys about 7 don'ts when it comes to smoking weed with other people, whether that's another person or a group of people. So, number one, if you don't know how to roll, just let the person know. I can't tell you how many times I've asked the person to roll a blunt for me, and they give it back and it's got a bunch of holes in it. Uh, maybe it's not even smoking after you light the blunt. So again, if you don't know how to roll, it's okay to let a person know, hey, I don't know how to roll. I don't know how to roll. And it'll be no problem. Number two. Now this is probably more for people who just started smoking weed, but getting the blunt or joint or whatever you smoking, pipe or whatever, all wet and juicy. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can relate, like you give it to a person and they got spit or whatever, saliva all on the end of the blunt and it's just, or end of the joint, and it's just, that's just gross. So don't do it. I mean, most people when give them a joint that's, a blunt that's all wet and soggy, it's just kind of ruins the smoking moment. So again, that's very gross or whatever. So just don't do it. I mean, if you are the kind of person that just has a juicy mouth, just more than likely just have smoke your own. Just say, hey, I'm good. I got my own. No offense, but I won't smoke my own weed. But again, that's more for people who just started out smoking weed. Who ain't been smoking weed that long. Number three. Again, these are the 7 don'ts you don't do with people when you're smoking weed with other people. So number three, if someone invites you to smoke weed with them, the best thing to do is to bring something, even if they don't ask you. Maybe it's a cigar, maybe it's a cigarette. There's probably people there who smoke cigarettes. You can offer them a cigarette, some soda, a big bag of chips, something simple as that. Again, if they don't ask you, bring something anyway, because that goes a long way. People will remember that. I mean, if you show up empty-handed and you're smoking another person's weed, it kind of sits with the person. They might not say nothing, but it will. And the next time, a person want to invite you over to smoke, they'll have no problem because they remembered, hey, this person bought something, let's invite them over and let's smoke again. Number four, this is really like a pet peeve of mine, is when someone who just holds the weed and they just hold it and let it burn in the air. Now I understand, I've done this, and comment below if you can relate, where I've gotten so high and I forgot that the weed was burning, and then I had it in my hand and just burning, this big long ash or whatever, and I'm just wasting the weed because I got so high. I've been there and done that, but like when you're smoking with other people, especially if it's you're smoking with someone else's weed or whatever, common courtesy, proper etiquette when it comes to smoking other people's weed is a 4 toke maximum. So what I'm saying is, like, you hit the weed 4 times and then you pass it. So again, you don't want to be the person that just be holding the weed and you just letting the weed burn, and then you just sometimes when we get high, we get to talking, we be very talkative, right? And maybe you just talking, you holding the blunt and it's just burning, and the person you're passing to is kind of like watching the blunt, like, when you gonna pass the blunt? He might not say nothing, but again, proper etiquette says, maybe 4 toke, hit the blunt 4 times and then pass it, or a couple of times and then pass it. Number 5. So if you're, if I can't tell you how many times where I've asked someone, hey, you want to match? You want to match me a blunt, or you want to match me a joint or whatever, and they're like, yeah. And I'm rolling the blunt, and I got maybe a finger-sized blunt, a pinky-sized blunt or whatever, and then they roll theirs and it's like a toothpick, and so don't do that. That's just, if you can't roll, or you're the type of person that just rolls real pinners or whatever, maybe you roll 2 to their 1 or whatever, but that's just, again, not proper etiquette when it comes to smoking with other people. You can do that in your own private time. Just let them roll. If you only know how to roll skinny blunts or whatever, and you can't roll big blunts or whatever, let them roll. Say, here's some weed, and I'm sure they'll have no problem with rolling it. Here, number six. if you come and someone invites you or whatever, and the weed is good. I find this a lot when you have some really good weed and you inviting people over to smoke and stuff. One thing will come up is the person might ask you for a blunt. Hey, let me get a blunt. Can you let me hold a blunt? Especially if you don't know the person, you shouldn't, don't, I would say, I'm not saying beg, but you shouldn't ask for something. If they're nice enough to share their weed with you, to smoke with you and stuff, just keep it at that. Just you're like, hey, there's some good weed, there's some fire, whatever. And they might be like, hey, I'll sell you a blunt, for $10 or $5 or $2 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then you just keep it pushing or whatever. But if it's like, you come in and someone offering you to, it's not, again, proper etiquette to ask the person, hey, let me hold a blunt, I'll get you back, and you don't ever plan to pay them back. And that's really bad. When you ask for credit, that's another thing. If you ask for credit, if somebody gives you a blunt or whatever, give you a couple blunts, or give you a sack or whatever, you know what I'm saying, pay them back. If they give you $5 to go to the dispensary and get you some weed or something, pay them back. Even if they don't ask for the money, pay them back. Because again, it goes a long way, because one day you may need that $5. You may not have $5 to go get your blunt, or $10 to go get your blunt. You don't want to burn your bridges. So again, if somebody's inviting you to smoke weed with them, just smoke and then just keep it, be cool and then just move. Don't, again, ask for weed, when they're already smoking. Now if y'all like cool like that, y'all go way back or whatever, and y'all, that you give them weed, they give you weed, whatever, what I'm saying, and it's cool like that, then yeah, that's a different story. But if it's a person you just kind of met and you only know, what I'm saying, and yeah, so again, I lost my thought here. So let's move right along, because I forgot where I was going with that. Number 7, if you're not comfortable smoking weed, excuse me, if you're not comfortable with smoking weed, if you're not comfortable smoking weed around other people, don't smoke weed. You know those people I'm talking about, where you pass them a blunt and they'll hit it and they just blow the weed smoke out, and you're just wasting the weed. Like, why is you even in rotation? Just get out the circle, and it's more room for everybody else. So again, if you're not comfortable smoking weed, let people know that. People are not gonna take offense that you don't smoke weed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just let them know, hey, I don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta give them an explanation. You ain't gotta give them a reason. Just let them know, hey, I'm good. I don't smoke weed, and then they just keep it moving. So those were the 7 don'ts you don't do when you smoke weed with other people, with a group of people, whatever. So that's gonna be it for today. Get high, get out, bless someone's day. If you ain't got no one to bless me by liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and take care.